Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Flesh and Loaded. My name is Tony Gershon, and across from me is Loaded himself, Mr. Josh Williams.
What's going on, guys?
Hey. This is episode 3. Hope you enjoy. Hey, Josh, you know anywhere around here in Kalispell that I can go shoot my bow?
As a matter of fact, I know of a fantastic place called Spirit Quest Archery.
Spirit Crest Archery, what's that?
Well, it's a pro bow shop, an archery shop down south of town here in Kalispell, Montana, where they have Matthews, Elite, Hoyt, Diamond, you name it, they'll get the bow you want. They have every archery product you could possibly imagine, and if they don't have it, they'll order it in for you custom. Kevin and Kim, those guys are fantastic. We'll get you set up. No questions asked.
Awesome. Yeah, I heard really good things about them, and I've shot down there a few times, and I love their spot. Love Kim and Kevin. They're great people. If you guys want to get a hold of them, you can call them at area code 406-756-5455, or they're over there by Distinctive Countertops, 115 Rocky Cliff Drive, Kalispell, Montana. So go ahead and drop off over there and say hi to them for us from Flesh and Loaded. All right. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3. How's it going?
Good. How are you, Tony?
And to you, Josh, how's it going?
Yeah.
What have you been up to today?
Did a little running around, dropped off some prototypes for a company. They're looking to get some stuff done. And then kind of jealous, I heard you went up to Lone Pine.
I did. I tried to get you, but you said that you were too busy.
Well, yeah, I had work and shit to do.
Yeah, it's okay. I had a lot of fun, though, yeah. Tried to actually work on a new anchor spot and release today. And like always, it seems like it only starts helping right at the end.
But did you get like good results? Or, I mean, you know?
Yeah, no, I had some really good results. I was sore by the end of the time there.
Okay, so what did you change differently than your normal release?
Well, I guess last time that I was shooting, I was actually anchoring. I started trying to figure out because I would actually anchor my thumb under my jawbone when I'd pull the full draw.
Right.
And people that don't know, if they don't know, I shoot recurve, traditional. Josh shoots compound. Anyone new that's listening to this episode. So I've been trying to figure out how to get a consistent draw without using a clicker. And so, of course, I was like, man, I need to get a better anchor spot. So I was doing under my jawbone.
Okay.
But I was like, man, I could anchor to the back of my jawbone, to the front. It was all inconsistent draws. So I actually started anchoring my pointer finger right to the corner of my mouth. So I'd pull back and anchor that pointer finger, index finger, right at the corner of my mouth.
Okay.
But I just kind of felt like my elevation on my draw was off. And then actually watching one of my favorite guys on YouTube, Jeff Kavanaugh, he does instinctive archery. Dude shoots out, he shoots candle flames out.
Without a sight.
Yeah, he's all instinctive. So he shoots a lot of bear archery stuff. And he, what's the, Dude Perfect? Yeah, on YouTube.
Yep.
So he actually challenged them to, to a shoot off on whatever, because they actually did this compound bow shoot thing that they were like, oh man, we're so good at this shot and stuff. And he's like, no hating, but I think you guys need to step up your game a little bit.
Right.
And dude's probably late 40s. He's been shooting, maybe early 50s, something like that. He's been shooting for a long time. But he has like an old oil quart, quart plastic jug.
Right.
And he puts a candle in the spout of it and lights it, and he has that hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, wow.
And he swings it like a pendulum back and forth. And he backs up probably, 35 yards.
Jeez.
And at 35 yards with a swinging lit candle, he puts it out in one shot, because it's all one take. He just sets his record, says his stuff. Hey, Dude Perfect, I think you guys need to step up your game. And then it goes back and shoots.
What a freak of nature.
Yeah, long story short, he anchors with his middle finger on the corner of his mouth. And so I said, hey, just to change elevation, I should probably try that out and see if it even helps out and stuff. Dude, I started lining up shots, grouping way better than I've done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So anyways, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Finally started to do pretty good at the end of the day there. But yeah, so you were busy though this morning, huh?
Yeah, I had some prototypes that I'm building for a company called Blue Snow, Montana. They build these really cool wireless chargers. Anyway, I build all their metal table legs and stuff. But
lot of work.
A lot of metal work, yeah, for sure. That's my trade. I'm a welder by trade, and that's kind of how I keep the bills paid and, guns and ammo purchased.
Well, they don't call you loaded for no reason, right?
Damn Skippy.
So we do have a couple topics we wanted to kind of bring up, and looks like a few questions, and we'll try to answer them for people.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be a lot of fun here. And I guess as a side note, I was going to say I'm pretty stoked. I'm going to be trying to go do some classes for my concealed carry.
Yeah, you're going to go up and take
yeah.
that class they offer up at Hunt and Ranch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and anyone that's interested, they have it all online. You might see it through Facebook. I think it's Equip to Conceal. 2 is the number in the middle of the words. They offer a concealed carry class that actually fulfills all the state things that you need. My wife is trying to be very quiet in the kitchen that's right next to us.
So if you guys hear some gnarly sounds, it's because she's making some badass food.
Yeah, it's going to be delicious. So, but yeah, if you are interested in taking that, they do offer it. You can sign up. I think it's $99. Yeah, kind of steep. But if you're going to pay for something that's going to fulfill everything you might need without having hunter's ed or anything, you're going into this as just someone that needs
just as a
the
basic,
classes.
right?
Yeah, basic just to take care of it. It's 3 hours, 9 in the morning till noon. And then you can get it taken care of, go down to the sheriff's office, and they'll just pretty much hand it right over to you.
Nice.
As
you
long
can
as
just pay your fees and fill out your paperwork, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I've
That's
been wanting
awesome.
to do that for
About time.
Oh, I know, right? So Josh has kind of talked me into it a little bit, and finally was like, it's my birthday the next day on the 10th. This is on the 9th, so I'm going to go ahead and just do it.
Whoop whoop.
Get it taken care of. So yeah, that's something coming up. Anything coming up you're excited about? Looking forward to?
Nothing too crazy other than next week. Okay, so everybody that's been listening before, they know that I'm an Army vet, and I am super jonesed about Range 15. It's coming out.
Oh, heck yeah.
We
dude.
have it here locally in Kalispell, so every vet I know, we've been trying to get them on board. We're going to see it on the 30th. We've got a ton of people going. There's still seats available. Everybody should come see this. Even if you're not a vet, you're just going to laugh your butt off. Matt Best is the funniest dude I've ever seen in my life. He has some of the most ridiculous voice changes that I've ever heard between a human that looks like that. Anyway, so I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to next Thursday or Friday, I think.
Yeah, and that's on the list of stuff we were going to talk about, and super, super excited. There were a few of us that really tried to share that around.
Yeah, we were trying to push pretty hard. We wanted to get it here locally, and we had to have a certain amount of tickets sold. So I think we hit our numbers, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty cool having that email pop on, that was like, hey, we'll go ahead and pull that money because now you got a spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, anyone that wants to check it out, it's up there at Hutton Ranch at our movie theater, our only movie theater now that we have here in Kalispell.
No more drive-in.
But, I encourage anyone to go up there. It looks kind of like a zombie apocalypse. So it's
like a
apocalypse
zombie spoof.
But it's like a bunch of vets. Is it?
Yeah.
I watched the trailer, so
it's like
that's
a zombie
about it.
spoof awesome movie.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and they just love shooting everything. And they're like, hey, let's get this together and blow up some zombies, which is, of course, most people that enjoy shooting guns, their fantasy for at least a day.
I wonder if there's any like bow shots in there. I haven't.
I hope so.
It'd be so awesome.
I hope so, dude.
Like a crossbow to the eye socket.
I'm actually stoked because 2 of the guys I follow on podcasts, Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen,
they're both in that movie, right?
They're both in that movie. I think they're like a cameo kind of thing, but they're military guys in it. Brendan Schaub's an MMA fighter for UFC. He's not doing it anymore, but he's on Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, and dude, it's going to be so great.
Awesome.
So great. So, heck yeah, dude. So those things we're looking forward to coming up here. Got a couple topics that we wanted to kind of talk about here. One really awesome one that I saw that Josh and I were like, man, we got to bring this up, was because, of course, we're big supporters of educating yourself when it comes to firearms, handguns, making sure that you're not ignorant and you don't know, you know what you're doing. You're not just picking up a gun and going, oh, hey, look, there's a trigger, and you point the deadly end at someone else,
Right, yeah, let me just tuck this in my pants and hope for the best.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. We're big proponents for get educated, do what you can to learn about, especially your specific firearm that you carry.
Yeah, and do it safely. You don't want to be like Cheddar Bob from 8 Mile and shoot yourself. You know what I mean?
I actually forgot about that movie until you just brought it up. But I came across on one of the concealed carry sites that I follow on Facebook, concealed carry yoga pants.
Praise the Lord. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about.
Heck yeah, dude. Well, it just doesn't. It seems kind of counterproductive in a way.
Well, if you think about it, though, like every girl you see on the planet right now, they're rocking yoga pants. Everybody wants to rock yoga pants. Wintertime, summertime.
Even if they don't do yoga.
Yeah, they just want to wear the yoga pants. And, you know, if they've got what's going on, I'm all about them wearing yoga pants, you know.
Heck
Thank you.
Dude.
Praise the Lord.
Right.
So it's actually kind of a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Most women, if they wear yoga pants the way they're supposed to, they actually have like a super high waistband. And the ones that we were looking at online, it seems like they have a high enough waistband that you could actually conceal a single stack pistol in there, and you would never know that it's there. So, I mean, if that's what it takes to get more females to carry and feel more secure carrying, and they don't have to carry a purse or have to go through, you know, multiple layers to get to their firearm, I think that's the best way for them to make their firearm readily available so they can feel more confident out in the regular world, you know, and don't feel like they have to have some kind of crazy holster strapped to them or something. Yeah. And if it secures the firearm safely, then by all means, you know. Like,
haven't checked them out in person or anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't fit in yoga pants.
Anyone that wants, any company that does that wants to send them our way, we'll go ahead and try them on. And no, I'm just joking. And see if they do conceal well. Maybe the gun they'll conceal.
Right. But not. Anyway,
so moving on. So those are really cool. Again, super stoked to see a lot of the female items and apparel and things that they can really try to do.
Yeah, the market's just blowing up with that.
Yeah,
you know, it started with like
conceal.
You know, concealed carry purses, and they were like these big cumbersome like briefcase things. Now they've got it to where, you know, like it looks like a regular purse. Yeah. That, you know, and they have a 38. Well,
and the other one that they have that is crazy is the under the bra.
Yeah, and then they have the corset one, so it looks like, you know, a corset that women can wear. You know, and then they have their pistol like stashed in there somewhere, which is cool shit too.
Yep, or like the thigh,
the garter belt thing.
Yeah, holster, like tons. It's super feminine still.
Like,
what?
Dudes just get holsters. Women get all this cool shit. We get a holster. Like, oh, hey, here's your leather and some Kydex. Good luck.
I want a hat, please, that I can keep. No, I don't want a hat that I can keep my gun in. That's stupid. No, like an Abe Lincoln top hat.
That'd be kind
I
of
could
cool,
hide
actually.
it in there.
Yeah.
It'd just probably rattle around a little bit.
It might hurt your head.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man, that would hurt really bad. But anyways, yeah, super cool ideas that they have for the females. Any females that, ladies that are looking into that kind of apparel, equipment, and things, you know, don't be intimidated by it. Ask a lot of questions. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of companies and groups that really show you how to use this kind of apparel, you know, like a yoga pants kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
You could probably get a hold of them and be like, okay, seriously, what size should I get to be able to handle a firearm? This is the size that because they're making it specifically for concealed carry.
Right.
They're probably used to getting questions that are like,
right.
You know, do I need to do one size up or something like that? I don't know how they do it.
Shit works.
I don't wear yoga pants. I mean, on my off days maybe, but you know, not around while, you know, like right now I'm wearing some yoga pants. They're hot.
No, he's wearing shorts. Please God, just
you know, they you know, they really just hold. No, I'm just joking. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, go ahead and check that out, guys. I think we posted a link on either my Facebook or on Instagram. I don't remember.
I think it was on Instagram.
If not, then I'll go ahead and repost that so you ladies can go ahead and check that out. One thing that actually was pretty cool on Instagram this week, I was talking to a guy that I had kind of written back and forth on. His name's Action Chris.
Okay.
On Instagram.
What up, dude?
He shoots off a horse, riding a horse. So horse bows.
Here. Okay.
You know, he has some crazy like flu shots, aerial shots that he has. Everyone that wants to check out that traditional stuff, like horse bow kind of style, check it out. Action Chris, all one word, on Instagram. He has some amazing shots that he does. He did one at 90 meters.
Jesus.
And one take. I don't know how many takes he did to shoot this.
To get to it, right.
I don't know if I got that answer from him, but in one take he did run the camera down and show that I think he was maybe 6 inches or so off the X.
Wow.
And
on a horse.
No, not on a horse.
I'm like,
this was
God.
No. Sorry, I didn't specify there. But he was just shooting at 90 traditional. He does a crazy draw. He wraps his thumb.
That's like the Mongolian draw.
Yeah, it's a Mongolian draw. Right? Yeah, and he was kind of telling me about that because I've seen like a pinch draw that you know, a lot of the Asian cultures and stuff have done. And it's just crazy strength that you need. I tried to ask him a few questions on if you need like a lower poundage to be able to do those kinds, or what, because I don't know. for
could
sure.
you imagine trying to like pinch draw 70 pounds or 55 pounds? Even
I did try this this afternoon.
Did it not go over
no,
so well?
I think I pulled about 1.5 inches, 2 inches back, and I was like,
Thwacked
this
yourself
is
in the
not
face.
fun. But yeah, so it brought up kind of a cool little post that I did.
Awesome.
That anyone can check out on Fletched and Loaded on Instagram. And it's pretty much just 3 different draw types for traditional, at least, which is, of course, the 1 over 3 under or 1 over 2 under, some people do.
Right.
And then you have your pinch draw.
Right.
And
And then
then-
you have that Mongolian draw with the
Yeah,
thumb.
Mongolian draw.
Yeah.
Scoot up on that mic, yo.
Yeah.
So, but just kind of put it out there for people that wanted to post what they did, and it got a few people that did. The one that we had forgotten, though, was the 3 under.
Right.
You know, and you're like, oh my god,
I
who
don't
does
know.
that?
Yeah.
Anyways, so of course I shoot 1 over 2 or 1 over 2 under, and it's been working out pretty good for me.
Yeah, you're like super accurate with that recurve. It's insane.
Getting there. So what about releases for compound? Because people don't care about traditional as
Dude,
much.
there's so many releases out there.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, you have, regular finger releases, which is, it's a wrist wrap of some sort that goes around, and then there's like a cable connected. It comes through, and it's like shooting a trigger like on a firearm. Then you have thumb releases, which, it's an aluminum body or a brass body or something, and then you pull back, and it's got either a set of jaws or a hook, and then as you release and squeeze the thumb, it actions the sear flips open, and then the D-loop transfers the energy through the string.
Yeah.
Then there's also hinge releases, back tension, same thing.
Those are the same thing?
Yeah, hinge release and back tension are pretty much the same thing. You can shoot a hinge and or back tension release incorrectly by rotating your hand. Ideally, when you shoot a back tension release, you're going to hook on pinky forward to the bow, draw back, find your anchor spot. Once you anchor, then you're going to start to you want to make sure your hand is as level as possible. So from the joint of your fingers, the second knuckle, to the elbow, it should be a perfectly straight line.
Oh, okay.
Once you have that, then you're going to start to squeeze your rhomboids together. That's the 2 big muscles in your back where when you try to like pinch your shoulder blades together.
Yeah, like holding the tennis ball between your
Right.
shoulder
You're trying
blades.
to pinch your shoulder blades together. That's your rhomboids. And then when you squeeze your rhomboids together, it actually rotates the sear by rotating your hand in the flat position, and that's how the break happens and the shot is taken.
Yeah.
And then let's see, so that's the finger, that's thumb release, that's back tension. And then they also have another one, it's like a ring finger. I can't remember who makes it, but you draw the bow, you anchor on, draw the bow, and then as you pull through the shot with your rhomboids, your ring finger is actually what actions the sear to release. It's kind of really cool. So it prevents
So
you
kind of
from,
like a trigger, but it's
a trigger, but it's like pulled with back tension.
Oh,
really,
okay.
really cool design. I think they call it the Ringer is the name of the actual release. I want to say it's like True Fire or True Ball or I can't remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
maybe
anyway,
try to find it later.
but a lot of people I know they always shoot like finger releases for hunting because it's more reliable and they don't have to worry about thinking about pulling through the shot. We've had a couple guys down there working with back tension releases, just starting out, and thumb releases, and just trying to get themselves in a position where they feel more confident. You see a lot of like world archers and guys that are shooting like ASA competitions and the Triple Crown. They're all shooting back tension releases. Levi Morgan, Rio Wild, he shoots a back tension. Tim Gillingham, Jason Broadwater. I could go on for days. All these guys, they all shoot back tension releases, and it just makes them so much more consistent. Like they can repeat the shot consecutively over and over and over and over and over. So I'm a big advocate of like people learning. I don't think you need to hunt with a back tension, but you definitely should learn proper back tension, not just rotating your wrist and making your fingers tight until the release goes off. That's kind of the cheating way to do it. And you'll see tons of videos on YouTube of guys doing it that way.
Yeah, I have.
But the true way to pull back tension, like you shouldn't be able to tell that my hand or my arm is moving at all. It shouldn't look like it's moving, and then the
Small
release just
motions,
kind of
very small
surprises
motions.
you because you're just tensioning those 2 muscles in your back.
And that's what John Dudley talks about, is always getting a surprise shot.
Yeah, it should scare the crap out of you.
Yeah.
It does every time I shoot my elite. It scares the living crap out of me.
Yeah, when I was working with Amy, my wife, about trying to tighten up that back tension and pull through the shot, man, there was a few times that she was like, oh, holy crap, that went off.
Yeah, it
You know,
surprises you.
and it does.
It's perfect, and 9 times out of 10, you'll feel a perfect shot.
Yeah.
You'll pull through, and you'll feel that kind of, that perfect position, and it goes off, and you're just like, yes.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, I believe it was on Knock On, they were talking about you don't only need a back tension release to be able to get a surprise release like off of a trigger or a thumb release,
Right.
where you can hook on to that trigger and anchor it. Don't move it at all.
Yep.
But instead, tighten up your rhomboids.
Right.
You know, pull through, and it's essentially what it is it's locking that trigger in place until your back muscle pulls your arm, that pulls your wrist, that pulls your thumb or your finger on that trigger.
Right. Yeah, it's like making an L shape with your index finger and then
Yes.
hooking it over it. And as you pull that tension with your back, that's what actuates that trigger.
Yeah, you're not pulling you're squeezing your finger. You're,
right. It's called punching the trigger. You're not actually punching
the trigger, exactly.
right, which will make you throw the shot.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I know that you shoot a back tension, you love it. Do all of them click like yours?
No, mine. They can.
Okay.
It's a you can flip the sear usually over with models that have a click sear is what that's called.
Okay.
I use the click because it initiates me being ready for the shot. Like, hey, stupid, you're about to shoot. Make sure you're really focusing.
Your checklist is taken
right,
care of.
and make sure you're doing your little mantra. You know, like hold, and I like the click. A lot of people don't like the click when they're shooting next to me because it is kind of loud. They can actually hear it go off. If you get on Fletched and Loaded Instagram, you can actually see me shooting that Energy 35, and you can actually hear the click in the clip.
Yeah, you can.
It's kind of loud, but I think it's the best way. I mean, I don't use it to hunt with. It's only for target stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's just a good training tool for me.
Yeah, and I always know when you're about to shoot.
Yeah. Everybody knows when I'm about to shoot. It's loud.
And then release and fire. So, but I know that's been working really well with people. I've heard John Dudley on Knock On talk tons of times about people saying, hey man, I can't figure out what's going on with my shot sequence. Dude, I'll shoot 100, 200 arrows. Half of them are going one way, half or the other, you know, and I'll kind of hit in between somewhere in there. And one of the biggest things that he says is go to a back tension release.
Yep, absolutely.
And he said, you know, because it'll point out a lot of the errors that you have in a pull through kind of release because you're punching the trigger, like you were saying,
right,
or anticipating the shot in a wrong
well,
spot.
And shoot through paper tuning your bow.
Paper tear.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know, shoot through paper with a finger release, shoot through paper with a back tension release, and you'll be able to tell what that string is doing and what that arrow is going to be doing as it's coming off the shelf.
Yeah, for sure.
Or coming out of the rest, because, you know, if you're tearing right, well, then you know that you're pulling, you know, one way or the other. Or, I mean, there's a ton of different ways to go about what that arrow is actually doing.
Yeah.
And once you tune it, you know, you shaft tune it, then you fletch tune it, and there's quite a few ways that you can make that more effective for you. And I think, you know, if everybody can learn how to pull back tension, even if you don't use a back tension release, it will make you consecutively more accurate in your shot. Not necessarily on the target, but in your shot, you will be consecutively repeatable.
Yeah.
By pulling back
tension. Which is
tension.
all that archery is all about.
Right,
just
exactly.
being consistent over and over the exact same thing.
Right. Well, that's like English longbowmen, you know, back in the olden days. You know, they had these super, super long bows. Mm-hmm. They were like 150 plus pounds, and they're pulling them with just their bare fingers.
Yeah.
But they would release with back tension. And lots of studies that I've read and books and stuff is about, like, you look at the digits in their fingers, and like the joints were so fluid on their right hand from releasing, and then you look at their left hand and they have like all these calcium deposits and buildup because they were always pulling with back tension and consecutively doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
It's like exercise in that joint. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I a couple of probably the same articles we kind of saw at the same time. There was on that string hand, on your pulling hand, actually at the end of the fingers, they would actually be swollen from all the blood being pushed
to the very end.
To the end of your fingers, which is just nuts. That's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
you're shooting 500, 600, 700 arrows a day.
Yeah, and they were shooting like 150-pound bows.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, I think the minimum that I saw back in those days was like 90 pounds. Mm-hmm. You know,
and that was for like the accurate archer who's like on the gate. You know what I mean? Like shooting guys that are trying to enter the gate or something like that.
Yeah, and then just trying to flank people or whatever. They could shoot long distances or whatever they needed, but. Pretty crazy how things have advanced.
Yeah, just
going from stick bows to now
aluminum
we're shooting
risers with
Hoyt Defiance stuff and whatever
absolutely
as close to techie as you can probably get.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But did you have some questions?
Well, I got asked a question day before yesterday. I was working down at Spirit Quest, actually volunteering down there. And one of the customers that comes in, a good friend of mine, his name's Ty, he actually has been bringing up, he's had a lot of trouble with target panic. A ton of trouble with target panic. The guy can shoot. Hands down, the guy did 4 Robin Hoods, like, in a row.
Wow.
He can shoot. But there's something about target panic that gets in his head, and he gets his sight on that dot, and something happens. And
when he's in the crunch.
He can just
Whatever
be
it could
shooting
be.
at the range.
Oh,
He gets that sight on target, and sometimes it overtakes him. And he was talking to me about it, and he was asking, like, how do you defeat target panic, and what are some of the methods? And I kind of wanted to touch base on that. Like,
Sure.
one of the big things with target panic is that you get afraid of the shot. You want the shot to hit exactly where it's supposed to, but your body and your mind aren't working in cahoots. They don't want to kind of coordinate that. I struggle with target panic a little bit when I first started shooting back tension. My buddy Eric at Top of the Food Chain was teaching me how to pull back tension, and he was trying to explain it to me. And I was just like pulling as hard as I could. I wasn't relaxing my hand. So I had like this death grip on my release, pulling through it. And I thought I was going to pull the bow apart because it just would not go off. I mean, I was just pulling.
And the release is just like, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. And, Ty's tried like a finger release. He's tried a thumb release. And sometimes he'll just get to where he's like punching that release. He knows he wants it to hit right there. And it's not for lack of being, technically sound and shooting. He's got killer form. Just something in the brain, is telling people, hey, I can't do that. Rio Wild has a great article where he talks about how he got through target panic, and it was blank bailing.
Yeah. In
So
the dark.
guy, he'll blank bail. He'll pull a target up to like 5 feet in front of him, and he'll just draw back, close his eyes, anchor, and pull through the shot. So he has nothing to look at. He's not staring at a target, or he's not looking at an X or looking at a spot that he's trying to hit. He's just trying to get down the motions of actually shooting the bow correctly and performing the shot consistently over time.
Yep. Doing your shot sequence over and over and over and over, not worrying about where that's going to hit, but making sure that you have your check.
Exactly. And everything that I've read about archery says that if you don't care where the arrow goes and you care about what happens at the line, where you step up and you get your 7, 10, 12, 50 steps together, and you go through all those steps, and as you make that last shot, it doesn't matter where the arrow goes, because if you did all that stuff correctly, the arrow is going to go to the X.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. And I know that I have a shot sequence that I go through every single time I step up.
Absolutely.
For me being a traditional guy, knock, check my stance, look at the target, focus, bow up in front, draw, anchor, and then pull through as I release.
Right.
And I always think that every single shot that I do. And I can tell if I accidentally forget and I'm getting too excited to hit that spot that I'm looking at and focusing, I'll miss it.
Right, absolutely.
I won't hit it.
Yeah. I mean, I have a bunch more steps because of, all the technical stuff with compound and but I know that if I don't follow my steps, or if I miss one, if I skip a step, if I go in a full draw before I let that good breath in and I get my focus and I set my hand in place and I just draw the bow, and then I have to readjust. Well, I've already messed up the shot. I have to let down and readjust all those things and start from step one.
Yeah, that in itself is a mantra.
Yeah.
It kind of throws you into, the release being the very last, besides your follow through.
Right, absolutely.
There's a rhythm to it. There's a sequency of it, that it's like a metronome almost. It's stance, pull, anchor, release. It's very methodical.
Definitely.
of how it goes through. If you have one thing off, it's like someone pushing you over in the middle of it.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, no, I don't know where I'm going.
A big gust of wind came through and you weren't expecting it. Have you ever had to fight target panic?
I haven't done like a lot of competitive shooting yet, but shooting around a lot of people, or like the 3D stuff, you get kind of excited to do what you're doing.
Yeah, your nerves get a little bit of the best of you.
Yeah. And so, there's been a few times, a few of those 3Ds especially, like shooting over the big sheep that we shot at, and I hit the rocks behind it. Super embarrassing, but I knew that I was still having fun and didn't care.
Right.
That's a huge thing that I know John Dudley's talked about with facing target panic, is the fact that enjoy what you're doing is a big thing.
Right, absolutely.
Because then that just puts like a coat over everything of, I don't have to take this so seriously.
Right.
Now, I can say that with not trying to place, in a competition or something like that.
Right.
But I know that he has talked, and he's a compound guy. So he talks about actually taking his students when they're dealing with target panic. And one of the biggest things is teaching them a mantra.
Yep.
Teach not just a shot sequence that they go through as a checklist.
But something,
but
hold the dot, or whatever it is.
Whatever your specific, you can make it up, you can do whatever. His specific one, I know he said on the podcast was, he says this right before he releases, he goes, I shoot 10s because I like the way they make me feel.
Yeah.
That's what he says every single shot.
That's an awesome one.
400 shots a day, he'll say it 400 times.
That's awesome.
So I know that he says that because it kind of just excludes everything else that isn't in his head. Did I leave the keys in the car? I wonder what the wife's doing.
Yeah.
You're just focusing on that one shot that you're supposed to do. The other thing that he had kind of mentioned, which is kind of funny, is he'll actually go out with his friends or a student that he's working with, and as soon as they draw that bow back, he'll start asking them questions.
Oh, right. Like,
distract them.
Yeah, what movie was that? It was like some volleyball movie, and they're like, give me half or whatever, and he like throws out a number, and the guy's got to come. He's like 24, and then the kid's got to be like 12. Like that's actually a really good idea.
Making your brain work when it shouldn't be working.
Right. Yeah. So you don't have to focus on exactly everything you're doing. It becomes a methodical process, just muscle memory for you.
Especially because if you're qualifying, you're shooting at qualifies or whatever. You got guys a foot away from you shooting.
Yeah. Oh, they're absolutely.
You're stacked on that line.
Yeah, you're getting arrows like stuck into your thigh if you're not careful.
Exactly.
Like the back of a knock or whatever.
So he talks about distracting them, and he goes, go out with guys if you want to get better at shooting. Go out with guys.
Shoot with more people
that won't be quiet.
Yep, exactly.
While you're shooting.
Yep.
And, you do it for a specific reason. You don't just go out with guys that are going to always do that and stuff. If you want a quiet shot, then you ask for that. But go out with guys that, if you and I were out and you were about to shoot and you need to work on target panic, you draw that bow, I'm going to be like, hey, dude, what kind of arrow is that you're shooting? Was that Challenger still, or
right? And just
be like,
take my mind off of what's going on.
Oh, crazy! You see that deer over there? Something that's gonna just
take the focus off.
Or dude,
of
your fly's down. Something like that.
Kids that are like,
Yeah, or kids. Bring kids.
Yeah.
But do something to kind of, because you're thinking in your head, draw, anchor, back tension, and if you have a freaking crow in the background going caw, caw, it's going to throw your concentration.
Definitely.
Or if you got your buddy in the background going caw, caw.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So he does that. He also says play music while you're shooting.
Right.
Something that, is not going to be super relaxing and stuff. So all these things to try to kind of dull down the sensation, the adrenaline that hits your blood.
Right.
As soon as you go, people are watching me. I got to make this shot count.
Right.
All of that. Those are things that I can take from him because he's
awesome.
Been in the Olympics shooting and all that stuff. So
yeah, I took a ton from reading Rio Wild's post that he put up, his article that he wrote.
What's that on?
About target panic. He wrote a full 3 or 4 page article.
Where can we find it? Maybe
you
can find it. And
you can probably just jump on Google.
Okay.
We'll try to find it and post it up for everybody to read. But fantastic article. The guy went for 6 months where he was had horrible target panic. Talked about he almost pulled his bow apart. He was pulling so hard that he stretched the D loop an extra half inch or some craziness
with a
that.
back tension release. Okay,
yeah,
so that
he
same
was
issue.
struggling really, really bad.
Huh.
So if you guys have target panic, read into it. There's a lot of different ways. They say blank bailing is the way to save your life with target panic.
Yeah.
Because you can't see a target, you don't see a target, you just are shooting, and you're enjoying shooting.
Yeah.
Granted, blank bailing gets old after a while, but if it's getting you to advance into the next step of your target archery or any kind of archery in general, I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah. Well, and I think any type of repetitious kind of workout isn't always super exciting and fun and all that stuff, especially when you're shooting something and you don't really see what you're aiming at.
And you don't get to see the results.
That can't be fun. But, in the long run, it'll almost become subconscious. Your subconscious will take over your body motions and what you need to do. And in those times where you're shooting in front of a crowd or something like that, instead of going, oh, crap, that guy's in a yellow shirt, and oh, hey, that girl's kind of hot, hey, whatever, you'll pull through the shot instead and not worry about the fact that, oh, okay, I got to hit that X, got to hit that X, got to hit that X.
Right.
Instead your body will go, okay, draw, elbow up, and all this stuff, and go through it like you've possibly done
do the things you have to do, exactly.
Thousands of times on your blind bail.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's kind of who was that asked?
That was my buddy Ty down at Spirit. So Ty, if you're listening, man, I hope that gives you some good material to go off of, and then even just some good insight. I know we've talked about it a bunch of times, but hopefully that will give you a little bit of time where you can do some research and get into it and listen to John Dudley's podcast. Get on Knock On.
Yep,
he's got killer information, and we're going to try to find some more archery podcasts. We haven't found a whole lot quite yet, but we're going to dig into it a little bit deeper and see if we can kind of bring some more light to the subject, so that way you're not listening to 5,000 podcasts. You can just get all the info from us.
Knock on, dude. He gets that question all the time.
I bet.
And if he gets it a lot and he doesn't want to address it in that podcast, he'll either say I addressed it in a previous podcast, or he'll try to remember about when it was. But
Right.
you can just search, Target Panic, and it'll come up on the description of that podcast that it came through. Maybe we'll try to find a few that I listened to that helped out with that for Ty.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be awesome.
But yeah, so we did get another question. It's going to be kind of moving over to the firearm aspect of which Joshua loves, of course. And actually, I learned a lot about this because of the fact that I'm still learning a lot on handguns, and like I told you, I'm going to get some education on that, which I'm excited for.
Awesome.
But
awesome.
The other question that came up was in regards to single stack and double stack firearms.
God, this is like the question
What the
I
heck
love.
Is a single stack and a double stack firearm, dude?
Okay, so let's look at some of the firearms that you and I currently both have.
Okay.
Right? You have a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield.
Yep.
It is a single stack. So in the magazine, rounds are stacked vertically on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, I believe yours carries.
Oh, okay.
Now, I carry a Glock 19, which is a slightly wider firearm, but in the magazine, it's a staggered magazine. You've
I've seen
that
them.
before.
Yeah.
So what they call that is a double stack, because there's 2 rows vertically stacked on top of
that's
each other.
pretty easy
but
to
it's
get,
staggered,
yeah.
right? So there's been like this huge controversy. Lots of people have been asking me, like, why would you carry a double stacked pistol? Why? And
Yeah.
I'm trying to enlighten. So this is my opinion. This is not proven fact. This is not indoctrinated. This is just what I have learned from watching different firefights that people have actually been in a concealed carry situation. Sheriff's Department guys that I'm friends with, that I've picked their brain. Hey, why would you do this? Why wouldn't you do that?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the classes and schools that I've gone through and learned about firearm training and pistol training and concealed carry training. Also, just good quality information to have about firearms. So I'm gonna hit these like 4 things, these 4 topics. So
Sure.
First one, I want to talk about single stack versus double stack. Right? Single stack are thin. They're low profile. They're like, I call them the summertime gun. People give me the weird look whenever I say that. Well, why would you say it? So they're great for if you're wearing like shorts and like a t-shirt and you want to conceal this thing, and you're going to be moving around a ton, and you're going to be out and sweating and like out at the park, or you're going to be at like an amusement park or something, or whatever your concealed carry choice place is.
Yeah.
Also, I think that, and this is only my opinion, I think that single stack pistols were really truly built for women.
Yeah.
I think that thin, low profile makes it so much easier for women to carry it. And I mean, guys that are, of smaller frame, by all means, carry a single stack, dude, if that's what makes you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I like carrying 15 rounds, so I carry a double stack.
Okay.
I want to have more ammunition. I'm a big framed guy. I mean, I'm 6'2", 270 pounds. Like, I can carry that style of firearm, and it be completely concealed, and nobody ever knows that I have it.
Yep.
Second thing, let's talk about if you ever happen to get into a gun battle. I hope no one ever has to use their concealed carry pistol.
Correct.
To protect their life or the lives of their family members and or friends. But if you ever get in that situation, I look at 7 rounds versus 15, right? The difference is, okay, now you've taken the next step. You've had to actually draw your firearm. You've gotten to a position where you are like, my life is in immediate threat,
No
danger.
turning back at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
So, okay, now if there's one person and you're 5 feet away from them and they're standing straight, squared to your shoulders, and they're just running at you, yes, I think a single stack pistol would probably be fine.
Yeah.
But what happens if you're 30 meters away and there's a guy shooting, and he's not directly shooting you or at you, but you feel that you are threatened by him firing that firearm at someone?
Which, he's already engaged. So
right, and you choose to defend yourself if he decides to come into your lane, right? I know that when my adrenaline's pumping, granted, I have a lot of time behind firearms and I have a shit ton of training, and I've learned how to train in those stressful situations. I am a little more accurate, I would say, than the average Joe who doesn't shoot all the time.
Correct. Yeah.
But most people, when their adrenaline's pumping, they don't shoot very accurately. They're they're scared
well,
shitless.
there's like target panic for archery. There's huge trigger panic.
Right.
in those types of situations. I mean, adrenaline works like adrenaline works.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Exactly.
You could be pitching a baseball or trying to protect someone with a concealed carry by pulling your firearm.
You know, and I mean, for me, you know, if I have family members with me, or even if I'm in a group and they have small children, like I have already made it my duty today. Like I will sacrifice that moment in my life to make sure that they're safe. Like that is part of the concealed carry.
Again, hopefully
ideology,
never have to do that.
Exactly. I hope I never have to.
But that's something you have to kind of come to grips with.
But the other thing is like, okay, so 7 rounds versus 15. Well, what if my first 5 rounds don't hit anything if I have to engage? Well, then that means I only have 2 rounds left.
With a single stack.
Yeah, I don't know what he has. Maybe he's got 30 rounds, or maybe he's got another magazine. For me, in a stressful situation, I think that having more rounds is a safer alternative. I hope I don't ever have to use them. I hope that if I have to squeeze a round off, it's 1 round and it's a safe target down, and life can continue on, at least for the people involved that, you know what I mean, don't need to be impacted by that round.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get it taken care of.
Secondly, you know, what if there's more than one assailant? You only saw one guy. You've dumped 5 rounds with your single stack mag. You have 2 left, and there happens to be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 shooters.
Yeah.
Well, you're out of the fight unless you have another magazine with you, which most people don't carry a second magazine.
Not a lot, nope.
I mean, I do. I carry a second magazine. I'm a little different, you know, but I feel confident with my firearm.
Yeah, and that's all about not being ignorant and actually getting used to what your firearm can do and what you
exactly. And feeling confident with your firearm at different distances.
Yeah.
Which
we talked about. We talked about a little bit on this, especially regarding you run out of rounds on a single stack, like maybe what I have. I don't have an extra magazine with me.
Right.
There's another person that's around that's engaged with firing their firearm at other people or whatever. That's now you've become a bigger target than anyone else in that entire crowd.
And you don't
or
have a
room
way to defend yourself
because
you've already expended all of your ammo.
Correct. So that's that. I guess that would be another pro to using a double stack,
right?
Or which, you know, if you do need to do a single stack like I do, you know, it would probably be safe to say maybe try to get some more time on the range working quick reload.
Yeah, and working under stressful situations. If you're going to do a
single
stack. do a bunch of burpees and then do like a couple of shuttle runs and then come back.
Yeah.
And you see them at the range when we're there, you know, and they're doing this crazy stuff, and people are like, "What are they doing?" And I'm like, "They're learning how to shoot in a stressful situation, so that if they ever have to get into that situation, they feel confident to know that when they pull their firearm, they know how to conduct themselves, breathing, get their heart rate under control in that split second moment, and make that shot count, so that they don't have to have, you know." The fear of, you know, making an inconsistent shot or multiple inconsistent shots.
Yeah.
You know, you want to make sure that those shots are placed on target correctly at all times. You don't want to hit a bystander because you're nervous and your heart rate's elevated, and you're, you know, that's something that really frightens me a lot.
It does, yeah.
About concealed carriers. And I'm not saying that as, you know, people aren't educated, but I hope that they are educated on the range as well as, you know, by the bookwork.
Correct. Yeah, and it's such a big thing with people, especially regarding wanting to get a concealed carry or looking into it. Honestly, just like anyone watching like a UFC fight, we've seen them all the time, going to the bar, watching a UFC fight or something. Everyone feels like they can take out the tough guy in the room. And so the biggest thing about that, though, is, you know, they may not have any experience when it comes to actually fighting hand-to-hand combat or anything like that. And so what will actually happen is they're going to get their butt kicked because of the fact that they really don't know what they're doing, but they maybe have a couple drinks in them or something like that. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be drinking and actually shooting your weapon at this in this junction or anything like that, but what will happen is a lot of people don't even know that they'll get that kind of trigger panic and not really know what to do in a situation that they may have to pull their firearm and take care of business. A lot of people feel that they can actually fire a firearm in a situation like that and they'll be fine. You know, they feel like, oh no, I won't have any adrenaline pumping. I know I've seen it in movies, and I think movies have kind of ruined that for people.
Absolutely. They've destroyed what a true, I think, concealed carry is capable of doing, and the person carrying it and what their elevated response should truly be. And what they see is like a guy pulls it out and he's like, pop, pop, and they're dead. You know, that's not true. That's not true at all.
Yeah. And it's a sort of delusion with the fact that, like I was saying with the, you feel like when you watch a UFC fight, you're all pumped and jacked.
Oh yeah,
and you got
like I can beat anybody.
Oh man, come at me, bro. You know, the thing is you're gonna get your butt kicked, dude.
Yeah.
If you don't have any training
Just because you wear a tap-out shirt doesn't mean that you're a badass.
Yeah, exactly. Man, that died out quick, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Tap out. Anyways, so but the same with a concealed carry, and I know I've said it a few times now. Be educated. I know I'm taking steps to being more educated, especially doing this podcast has really tried my my intellect with getting more educated in firearm safety, doing what I need to instead of just going out and shooting a firearm in the field.
Yeah,
I want to make sure that it is taken care of, that I'm doing. And that's the great thing about anyone that wants to do a podcast at some time. Honestly, do it on something that you're very interested in, but you might not know a lot about. Because I promise you, you will learn things every single time you do a podcast.
Absolutely.
Because, like with this, I had to do a little bit of research on different concealed kind of spots that you can actually hide a gun
and you were
and
just
have
looking
concealed.
at a different concealed carry holster.
Yeah.
You don't even have one yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you did all your research. You looked at the top 5 brands, the top 5 reasons to carry that specific
A lot of
one,
reviews.
all the reviews, why people bought it, why they don't like it, why they do like it.
Correct.
What's the benefit? What's the position to carry, whether it be like apex or strong side or lower back or ankle or, shoulder holster, hip holster, exterior, inside the waistband. You've done all the research, which is
tons and tons
more
of
than
places.
most people I would say do.
Yep.
They kind of get it, carry it, and then learn as they go, which is not wrong. I mean, trial by fire is a good way to learn, but I think intelligence versus
but when it comes
brutal
to
force is
exactly.
probably better to
And
have
when
intelligence backing you as well.
When it comes to having something that can cause serious bodily damage to yourself, someone that might be an innocent person or whatever,
yeah, an innocent
probably
bystander.
try
Yeah.
to get more training than
Absolutely.
learn.
And I mean, we've
as you
gone to
go.
the range a few times, and we've gone over safety things, and we've gone over shooting direction and sight alignment, sight placement, trigger squeeze, trigger control, all those things, and we've gone over the importance of why. Even like when we went to the range that one day when I got that new Glock and I threw that thigh rig on, and you were watching me as I draw. I would drop my hand down onto the thigh rig, depress the release, draw the firearm, but my index finger would stay completely straight indexed until I got onto target. Then I would cup into the trigger well and then start my shooting sequence.
Correct.
Whereas other people we were watching on the range were not doing that.
Yeah,
they would
kinda got
release and they
scary.
would just hook right into it. And I'm like, dude, if he sneezes, he's going to shoot himself in the leg or one of us.
Yep.
So definitely make sure that you're learning all of your safety mechanisms and controlling your firearm as if it were going off all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I learned. Control your firearm as if it's already shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to hurt anybody. Nobody wants to hurt anybody for that
of
reason.
course.
We conceal carry to protect ourselves and others, not to I've got a gun, I can kill anybody that messes with me. That's just
that's
not how it
stupid.
is. That's just a stupid mentality.
Yeah.
So that's my piece on single stack, double stack, and why to conceal carry.
Yeah.
We kind of went off on tangent, but
No, it's fine. Kind of bringing it back around to where we started with, whether you should carry a single stack or double stack. I'm going to be probably carrying that M&P Shield.
yeah, and that's a great firearm to carry.
The biggest reason that I'm okay with that is because I've gotten to know that weapon.
Absolutely. And you're
I would
confident with
love to carry like a 1911 or something that I am like, heck yeah, dude, check this out. This is what I'm carrying. I'm super proud of this weapon,
Right.
But the thing is it's something that I know I'm comfortable with. I want to get more comfortable with it. And so I'm taking the steps to be able to do that. So anyone out there that is actually looking at getting concealed carry, and I bet you would agree with me, is don't necessarily, get the advice of others, your buddies or whatever, but whatever you feel comfortable with carrying,
right.
it's going to be on you. It's not like I'm going to be
carry a 50 cal Desert Eagle, you know what I mean? And you can
And you're
conceal it
completely
and you're
comfortable
completely
with that.
comfortable with it, dude, carry it.
Yeah.
Like hashtag badass, but
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? But
one guy might be super comfortable with that, and the other guy is like, dude,
Right,
there's
there's
no
no
way.
way.
Like, I could pull that
Exactly.
trigger, but I'm also going to be smacking myself in the face. I won't be able to control that recoil.
right.
So he might need to go
to
with
the
something
range and
else.
shoot, a 9mm, shoot a 40, shoot a 38, shoot a 380, shoot a 45. Find what is most comfortable to you. Sure, could I carry a 45 single stack like an XDS? Absolutely, I could.
Yeah.
But I choose not to. I choose to carry a 9mm because of repeatable shot placement. That for me, that is more important. I want to be able to put
Yeah,
multiple
accuracy,
rounds
of
in the
course.
same spot. instead of just, throwing a chunk of lead out of a cannon at somebody and, hoping I tear off the shoulder.
No,
That's just not what I want to do. That's not what my
you
training
could have
is.
more power, but man, it doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily be accurate.
Absolutely. And, my training that I went through with my time in the service and with different pistol courses that I've taken in classes, etc., I've learned that, a 9mm is more deadly, I think, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. I think a 9mm is more deadly because you can place the round exactly where it needs to go multiple times.
Yeah.
Now,
with that practice and
right, and you can kind of
split
split the range. Like some people say, 45's got all the knockdown power. 9mm's all sissy la la, and 40 is like where everybody wants to go. For me, I choose not to shoot a 40 because it's so snappy. It's got such an amount of jump to it.
Gotcha.
Doesn't mean that I can't control that firearm in my hands. For me and my shooting style and the way that I can carry, I prefer a 9mm.
Yeah.
So,
and that goes all back to what you're comfortable with.
Right, absolutely.
If your buddy is comfortable with shooting a 45 and he's like, dude, why wouldn't you pick a 45? I mean, the biggest reason is, okay, dude, that's fine that you're comfortable with that. That's awesome. Go ahead and do that. But if I'm not, then I'm going to go and pick something that I'm comfortable with because this is a little bit more serious than, look at my weapon that I'm carrying.
Right. Well, that's like my buddy Chuck. Charles Williams, he used to carry an M&P Shield in 40. Mm-hmm. We went out to the range, and I was kind of harping on him a little bit, and I'm like, dude, you need to switch to a 9mm. You need to switch to a 9mm. He's like, shut up. I love my 40.
I'm not going to a 9.
Right, exactly. And then we went through a couple of shooting scenarios where he was asking me about some training events that I went through, and he was like, okay, Josh, seriously, tell me why you went to a 9mm and why you went to Glock. And so we went through, and I explained some of the reasoning behind, and I said, look, let me show you what I learned, why it benefited me, and if it benefits you and you choose to go that route, by all means. If it doesn't, then stick with what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, of course.
And after about 3 months of us going to the range and we're doing different instructional video watching on like YouTube and stuff that we did together, he decided to switch to a 9mm, and then he actually switched later on to Glock.
Okay.
He feels more confident because we've put more range time in.
Okay.
He also feels more confident with multiple shot placement, whereas before he was like, 40's going to knock it down no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. Now he's more like, I don't know that I necessarily want to knock it down because what if there's something behind it?
Yeah,
I want to put that round where I want it, and I want it to stop when I hit it.
Yeah.
So it just, be comfortable with what you're carrying and learn everything about your firearm, about firearm safety, and about what the capabilities are for yourself, not only, but for your firearm too.
Yeah, that you're doing. That's very good. Very good. Well, really cool, guys. We did 50 minutes, 52 minutes almost.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, heck yeah. Again, I just want to thank everyone, even the few people at this point that are listening to the podcast. Josh and I have a blast doing it, no matter if there's only a few people listening or thousands of people. So we really appreciate anyone listening. Shout out to any of the truck drivers. I know, Eric, you're out there driving your truck all over the place. Correct?
Yeah, man, from like New York to Canada, like twice a day or something. He's a wild man.
Driving. So appreciate you guys, especially because I know a lot of truck drivers listen to podcasts. They enjoy the time because they don't have much to do. I know.
I mean, they're just driving. They're staying awake and staying aware on the road.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's places they don't get signal or service, and they just they're like, let me throw on a podcast and listen to Fletched and Loaded.
Keep it awake a little bit too. Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening. If you can, go ahead and give us a good review on, good or bad, whatever. Review us on iTunes. Drop us a comment on iTunes. Let everyone know how the podcast is. Hit us up on Instagram, Fletched and Loaded, and Josh is at Inked Up Josh on Instagram.
Inked Up Will.
Inked Up Will?
I think so. We did this last time.
Yeah, I know. You might as well look at it again.
Yeah, might as well just to be safe.
Yeah, Fletched and Loaded for me on Instagram. We've been doing hashtag Fletched and Loaded for all of our content on...
No, you're right. Inked Up Josh. I'm
Inked
retarded.
Up Josh. It's okay. Inked Up Josh for Josh. But again, we've been hashtagging a lot of the videos and pictures that we've been posting on Instagram, if it has to do with archery or firearms, as hashtag Fletched and Loaded. If anyone that does have Instagram that's doing archery or firearm stuff, they want to hashtag that Fletched and Loaded. Something that will catch our eye, and we'll be able to maybe talk about
it on the show and try to give you guys a little more insight if you have questions and stuff like that, or if you just want to throw a shout out to something that's really cool, a nice long range shot or something cool that you did.
Oh, that'd be a blast.
We'll super comment on that stuff, man.
Yeah. And then send us any questions. We still waiting for more questions for the podcast. Any awesome stories that you might have of crazy things or amazing things that have happened when shooting firearms or archery. We'd love to share that with all the listeners that are tuning in. See if I'm forgetting anything. I don't think so.
I think we hit.
Just
I think we talked about everything. That
just
we
review and comment and say hi to us. We'd love to say hi back. And
Make sure you guys go see Range 15.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Go see Range 15. You could probably get tickets on IMDb, Fandango, all those places.
Even
or you
at the
can
movie
just
theater, yeah.
or just go there if you're old school and you just want to show up and buy a ticket. So we'd love to see you there. Look for Josh and I, and we'll be there. I believe it's this Thursday. So all of you in the surrounding areas, Columbia Falls, Kalispell, Whitefish, all those, stop by 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 30th. I believe it is.
Yep, we'll be there.
And we'll be there. So thank you again, guys, for listening. And until next week, shoot straight, everyone.